Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Orange Power Podcast. We're excited to have with us today Ashley Davis, one of the assistant coaches for the Oklahoma State Cowgirl women's basketball team. Coach, it's good to have you with us on the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So what's your official title?
I am assistant coach.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if there was any other expertise or any other little thing that went on the back end
a lot
of that.
goes into that. So I do scouting, lots of recruiting, player development. I am along with Coach Robin, one of the post coaches. So there's a lot that goes into that.
There is a lot that goes into it, and certainly a lot that goes into it to a team that's having the success that you guys are having. So let's back up a little bit. Let's go way back. Where are you from?
I am originally from San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
My dad was in the military, so I was actually born in Nebraska.
Okay.
And then from there, we moved to Germany, where we lived there for 4 years.
Wow.
And then from there, moved to San Antonio, and that's where I went to middle school, high school, all that stuff. And then, so that's where I claim that I'm from.
Okay, so that connection with Germany, that created a little bond with you in praise?
Yes, I know how to say, like, how are you and how old are you and stuff like that. But that's about it. But we could talk a little bit.
Yeah, well, and man, what a delightful young lady she is, by the way. She is, that young lady just brings such incredible energy to our basketball team.
And she is just so fun to coach every single day. I personally love players that are just very even, and that's her. You know what you're going to get from her. You know what to expect. I mean, she's going to bring the energy every single day. She's going to try her best. She's going to give her all, understands her role. And I just enjoy coaching her every day.
So I pivoted too quickly. I want to go back. Let's go to San Antonio. What kind of basketball player were you?
I was a three-point shooter, so I kind of had a little Macy Heward in me. And I was. So when I was in high school, I made the transition basically from being a post player to being on the perimeter because obviously in college I was a little too skinny and maybe not strong enough to play inside. So that's when I developed my three-point shooting skills and became a three-point shooter.
You had to be one of the tallest guards you played against.
I was a mismatch problem. I could still rebound the ball. Didn't really handle it very well. I was kind of hidden when it came to that. But again, I knew my role.
Stand out there, and when they get it to you, shoot the three and knock it down. So you went from San Antonio High School to where?
To TCU.
Okay.
And that's where I played I actually redshirted my freshman year just to adjust and grow and things like that. And then spent the next 4 years playing and definitely contributing. So I had a great time.
So, and it's fun because when we go back, we always kid you about them retiring your jersey, right? But when you go back, it is fun. Now, I know it's changed, right, drastically, and the people have changed, but there's still a connection, obviously. There's always going to be a connection between your alma mater and yourself, and it's fun to watch you interact with the people when we go see those Horned Frogs.
Yes, and that program has changed. I know it's had some up and down years, but just seeing where the program and just the university as a whole has grown to has been really, really nice. But doing the same thing here, I think, has been special as well. So
out of college, where'd you go?
Out of college, my first assistant coaching job was at Georgetown University. In DC.
Wow.
And I coached there for 4 years. Then went to the University of North Texas as the associate head coach. We were there for 3 years. And then I was actually here at Oklahoma State.
Right.
So coached here for 6 years before the J.C. Hoyt era. Went on to coach at Arizona for 2 years. So that win yesterday was pretty special, pretty fun. And then now I'm back here in my second year with Coach JC.
It's fun to watch all of that. First off, again, you have to be willing to be transient typically in the coaching field, right? Because there's always going to be these moves, most likely. You being a military brat, and I'm sure you were a military brat, having to move, going from all of these places, that prepare you to be able to, I mean, you just pick up and you just go.
I just pick up and I just go and I adjust. I mean, that's kind of what I really like about myself and my family and things like that is just whatever you're given, you just got to make the best of it. And I think I've done that pretty much my whole life. And just being able to get that call from Coach JC to come back to Oklahoma State. I mean, I remember telling her, can I have like an hour, to think about it? And the whole time I was like, I am definitely coming back. I am definitely taking this. And I remember, getting off the phone and telling my dad, and I was like, hey, Coach JC from Oklahoma State called. And he's like, what are you doing? Call her back now. Don't wait the hour. Call her back. So I actually called her back about 5 minutes later and was like, Coach, I would love to come back.
That is awesome. Okay, so let's go back, though, to our first ever meeting against Arizona as a Big 12 school, only the third meeting ever between the two teams. Again, you're on the bench. Here come their coaches. Here come some of the players. So, again, there was a lot of well-wishing going on, even though, again, you've been gone there for a few years. But it's just kind of cool to see that, obviously, when you were there, you were appreciated.
Yes, and it felt really good to kind of see, you know, my old coworkers and things like that, old managers, even players that you recruited. But that's kind of what the basketball world is about. Like, we're all connected. We're all going to stay connected, no matter where you go. So it was definitely special seeing, you know, previous people that you used to work with.
When you left Stillwater, did you ever think you were coming back to Stillwater?
I did not. I owned a home here. I sold that. Had so much gear, so much orange and black that I gave away that I'm wishing I still had, because I have some favorites in there. But yeah, I just never thought I would come back, and then coming back and being part of what, you know, JC has built here, and I'm just appreciative to be a part of that.
You know, it's interesting. Obviously, the question every assistant coach gets, do you aspire to be a head coach? And some are afraid to say, well, I don't want my head coach saying I'm trying to get a head coaching job. But we've had that conversation. Are you, you know, it would take the right thing, right? It would take the right situation, because it really doesn't seem to be something you have been actively seeking since you got into coaching.
Yes, and I know being a head coach is a hard job. Like, I even sit back and I watch, you know, just what Coach JC does on a daily basis, and how she's had a baby, you know, she's leading a top 20 program in the country. So it's hard work, and I'm definitely up for it, but it's not something that I wake up, you know, thinking about every single day. What I do think is important that she has done is she really just dedicates herself to whatever you would like. I know that she would help me get there when I feel like the time is right, and things like that. But just watching her and seeing what she does, and just trying to, you know, model what she does whenever that time comes for me is what I'm really focused on.
So you don't get a call to come back somewhere unless you left in the right way, right? And obviously you did that and got your chance to come back. Stillwater, obviously, again, we were just talking to the guys helping with the show here. I've been in this town for 35 years. Obviously, I have great love for for Stillwater, Oklahoma. But it's not everybody's cup of tea. And it's not something that you can come in and promote immediately until you learn what it is. What is it about? Okay, it's the people. What does that mean? Until you feel that. For you to come back and now start selling kids on Stillwater and Oklahoma State again, it had to be really good to have that knowledge beforehand to go, listen, I know what this is about, and I know what Oklahoma State's about. It's a new coach, but it's still Stillwater, and you have to sell Stillwater to kids. If they don't believe it, they're not coming. And so it's just interesting, just kind of seeing you're leaving, coming back, and then trying to sell the same program again to young people. It had to be an interesting transition.
It has, and I know, like you said, people always say it's the people, but it really honestly is the people. And it's just a special place, and having coached at other places, I just never met people just so dedicated and that love where they're from and that just represent a town like Stillwater, Oklahoma. And, you know, some people, like you said, it's not their cup of tea, but it definitely is. It's mine. I love it here, and I enjoy every moment.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, think about your towns, right? San Antonio and Washington and Denton, although Denton seems like a small community. It's really a large city, part of the Dallas, just outside Dallas, obviously. Arizona, I mean, this is a college town, right? The great thing about Oklahoma State, too, and I know you guys have been absolutely fantastic at capitalizing on, and you talk about your recruiting, is a kid gets promised so much and goes somewhere else, and it doesn't work out. And then they come back and they go, man, Oklahoma State told me there's some things I should have looked out for, and I didn't. I'm going there, and I'm going to give this place a try. And, well, once you get them here, especially off the rebound, it's amazing how kids just settle in and go, yeah, this is the place for me. And I should have listened when I was 18.
Yes, it is special. Like, we're recruiting kids now, and that's really the first thing I talk about. I tell them, you know, this is a college town, so if you want, like, the city and the bright lights and everything, you won't necessarily get that here, but you'll get a lot of family environment. You'll get a lot of love. You'll get a great culture that we're building here. So if those are the things you want, and those are the things that are most important, and sometimes recruits don't really notice that until the second time around.
Right.
That, you know, all those things that I thought I wanted aren't necessarily the number one most important thing. I want the culture. I want the environment. I want, to play for these coaches with these type of personalities. And that's really what we sell here.
We want to have a place we can call home. And kids that truly want that here are going to get that here. So let's move real quickly just into this current team. I mean, you guys are one game as we sit behind 3 teams that's sitting atop of you. And you've beaten all 3 of those teams, and they still have to play each other. Culture right now is probably an overused term, but it's a really true term as to what's needed right now for Oklahoma, or for a program to be successful. We talked a ton about team chemistry. Team chemistry is tight here. The play is outstanding. This team has got some really special things going right now.
It does. And one thing that I will say is culture and family and everything, that's something that we work on. Like, we put work into it. We have something that we call team time, where we get together, we read books, we share our feelings, we talk. And I've never been a part of that on another team. Everything else has just been about basketball, about wins. But here it's not like that. Obviously we want to win, and a lot of it is about basketball. But we actually want to bond and get to know our players on another level. And JC does a really good job of that.
Well, the proof's in the pudding. This has been a fantastic year. It's been very special. Last thing is we move now into the back 25% of the Big 12 season. How do you keep kids, from hitting that wall and staying engaged and still grinding through the toughest part of the grind? Because it's now you're tired, you still got to go on the road for games. There's a lot going on. How do you keep kids engaged down the stretch?
I think we do that just by being open and honest. Before we start film, a lot of the time, Coach JC just kind of talks about like where we are in conference, what we have coming up, things that we need to do. We had a slip up at Houston. We really didn't play well. Houston had a really, really good game that night. And it was kind of like right after we got ranked. And so she kind of just talks about, we're everybody's like Super Bowl now. Everybody wants to come in. Everybody wants to beat us. And we have to take that responsibility, and we have to wear it every day. And that's not only in games, that's in practices as well. So I just think being open and honest about, where we are. We understand that going on the road to Utah is going to be tough, playing a really good BYU team, playing a really good Utah team on the road. And we talk about that stuff. Like, we understand, the challenges that come ahead, and we're just open and honest with our team. And we have a really mature team that kind of takes that stuff in and kind of understands the task ahead.
Well, and it's where you put yourselves and made this a really fun finish, right? You've set yourselves up for great success. And the NCAA tournament is out there as well. We still got a lot of basketball between now and then, but it's been fun so far. Let's keep the winning going. Let's keep going. Let's do this. Hey, that's going to do it for us. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and certainly appreciate Coach joining us. And we'll catch you guys next time. For Coach Ashley Davis, I'm Casey Kendrick. See you next week on the Orange Power Podcast.